defense right now, the help, the helper, and second and third efforts that you guys have going. What does that feel like on the court when you're completing possessions the way that you are?
Yeah, yeah, we're connected. Because of the circumstances, we feel like we don't have any chance any other way. We have to be connected out there defensively. Be ready to scramble, be ready to scrap, be ready to fight. It's just what our identity is and what the game has called us to become.
And you've seen J-Dub in the way that he's grown over the last handful of years. What stands out to you about the way that he's accepted some of the challenges that have come his way during this time?
Yeah, he just really affects the game. He does so many things well, and just to sum it all up, he just when he's out there, good things happen on both ends of the floor. And me and him were just talking about it. It feels like he still doesn't even calculate the game. He just goes out there and plays basketball, and his instincts take over, and he just affects the game on both ends of the floor at a very high level. So yeah, his growth has been amazing. He still has so much room to grow, which is very exciting. A tremendous player for sure.
Shai, Lou held Devin Booker scoreless in the first half. They ended up, having that little interaction. I wonder, over time playing with Lou, what collective reaction you see from his matchups as he, walks over to them.
Yeah, Lou. He does a really good job of being physical without fouling, and a lot of times I could imagine it be frustrating offensively because you feel like you're being pushed or shoved or whatever it is. But Lou, it's obviously a skill set of his ability to move his feet as well as be physical, as well as be disciplined, as well as he ticks all the boxes defensively. And I can only thank God I don't have to go through it on a nightly basis like the other teams do. But Lou's special for sure. He'll end up on one of these defensive teams now or in the future.
And Mark was just in here talking about the free throw rate and disparity, not just tonight, but the entire season. And he mentioned it. He said, quote for quote, it's capping us offensively, and the guys are asking us how to improve. Obviously, that affects you a ton. I guess, what have the conversations been like this year? Is that something you're concerned about moving forward?
Nah, for me personally, there's so many things going on out there. The last thing I'm worried about is whether I'm gonna get a call. I let coach, let them handle that. How to know the officials, handle the officiating. I know there's a whole committee. I know it's more complicated than it seems. But I don't have time nor energy to worry about that. If I feel like I get fouled, I'll let them know in a nice way, and hopefully they can appreciate that and look out for the next play. But once it's not called, the play's over. They're not gonna call it 2 plays. You know what? Shai got fouled 2 plays ago, so let's get him back to free throws. It's not gonna happen. So there's no point in me wasting time or energy. And that's how I see it. I just play basketball, go out there and hoop, play the game that I love. Whatever comes with it, comes with it.
Andrew Schleck with The Athletic. You've had Kenrich back for a couple games. He's obviously a leader off the court, but what does it mean to have him on the court with you guys again?
Yeah, it seemed like it was perfect timing with Chet going down. He's been our small ball 5 for as long as he's been here. We're all comfortable with him in that position, and so is he. So it was like I said, perfect timing.
Back to Joel's question about the fouls. That mindset that you have, did it come from ever have you always had it, or did you have to grow into that?
I think I want to say it was maybe my parents growing up, talking to the refs and complaining to the refs was something that we just didn't do and wasn't tolerated, I guess. for my coaches and my parents growing up playing basketball, and I guess it's just something that I've carried on. But yeah, it doesn't. It's time and energy wasted, if you ask me.
And then you guys out-rebounded them, 13 offensive boards. What did you like about you guys' effort on the glass tonight?
Yeah, we gave ourselves extra possessions. It's a big part of the game. The more possessions, the more chances to score. The more you score, the more you win. So it's something that we've tried to put emphasis on, and did a good job of it tonight.
Michael Martin, Let's Talk Thunder. Shai, you talked the other week about preparing your teammates for the playoffs and things like that. How do you feel like you sort of exploring more threes more frequently, specifically the pull-up, is going to help you further in the playoffs?
Yeah, it'll help for sure. I think just being able to, at the end of the day, every possession you come down and you're trying to get something done, and the defense is trying to get something done, and whoever wins the battle wins the possession. And those stack up to wins and losses. And the more that myself, in this instance, but the team offensively can have the defense worry about multiple things, the better off we'll be. And that's how I see it. Like the more that the defense, they just have to think I'm going to shoot it. Then I get to play, get to drive. If they think I'm going to drive, I get to shoot, and I have to be ready to shoot. So it goes hand in hand.
Oh, Shai, Mark was in here saying the other night, and he often says that you're in the driver's seat of your own development, and that nobody's better than you for that because you care so much. I just wonder, do you prefer it that way? He mentioned that he doesn't overcoach you, that we'd be surprised how little he coaches you. Is that something you prefer?
Yeah, I think it's our. He's being dramatic. He coaches me. He when I need to hear something, he says it. And that's what I respect most about him. Like he doesn't like fray. He doesn't like waver. He's consistent. You know what you're gonna get from him. If you mess up, he's gonna tell you. If you do something well, he's gonna tell you. And he does that like a perfect amount with me. And I a lot of the times know when I mess up. So I guess that's what he means by he doesn't have to coach me. Like I know whether I should have passed or didn't pass, whether I should have been the low man or not the low man. Like a lot of times I know. I'm out there a lot. I have a lot of feel for the game. So I think that's what he means by it. But he does a really good job in finding the balance of being on me and also letting me like figure it out and play for myself.
So 7 years in, just how much of your development would you say you actually have control over, and what are you still seeking guidance with?
100% of my development. Skill-wise, for sure, I go out there and I work my butt off. And then mentally, I've had a few coaches growing up, as well as Coach Mark and some of the coaches on the staff that have helped me understand the game better, think it in a different way. So yeah, it's a collective, but at the end of the day, you got to go out there and do the work.
You guys have obviously played small a lot in your time here, but like knowing that like that's the only way that you can play over the last few games, does it feel like any different to you guys, knowing that there's like not a big coming in at any point in the game?
Honestly, not at all. I feel like we've had to play this way for so long that we're really used to it. And we have a bunch of guys that are like hard-nosed. Like we almost prefer to play. We don't prefer. We would rather have a 7-footer out there that can block shots and shoot threes. But we don't like. We have fun playing, switching, being in the gaps, being able to gamble, being able to rotate, help each other. It's almost like a pickup field of basketball. Like we're not in coverage all game. Like, we're not, if someone sets a screen, they don't have an advantage right away because of the mismatch or height difference, you know what I mean? Like, we don't come off, it's just a red, it's just a switch, and it's the same base defense for us. So it's like, it's fun. Now, obviously, you need multiple ways to play defense to win big, and that's where our big guys come in, and they do it at a high level, and when they're back, they'll continue to do so. But it's important for us to sharpen this blade of switching and being scrappy if we need to go to it down the future, then we probably will.
Anybody else?
All right, guys.
Dub, what does the connectedness feel like out there on the defensive end with this, second, third, fourth efforts and the way that you guys are kind of moving in unison defensively?
Cohesive. It's just a bunch of guys that are going out there playing really hard, and you kind of feel that. It's like energy is contagious, so whatever group's out there and whatever group comes in, you kind of feel the transfer of energy.
Ajay, a lot of teams that have 5 guys injured, people coming in the second unit might not look as cohesive as J-Dub was just saying, as your group does. What's been consistent about the way that you all have approached things coming in off the bench?
I think just bringing a lot of energy. I think coming off the bench and just doing what the team needs us to do, and just trying to help the team win, honestly. That's all we're focused on, and just bring, a lot of energy.
Jalen, I just wonder what you saw from Lou. He obviously held Devin Booker scoreless in the first half. Just what did you see from him as far as how he took D-Book out the game?
Exactly that. It's just what he does on a pretty nightly basis. Like I said, you see that energy with what he's doing, so you always want to make sure you're in the right spot to help him if he gets beat, and just make sure like our coverages and stuff are clean, especially when you have a really good player like that can, like Book's had 70, so you don't want to give him anything easy, and you kind of know on the ball Lou's not really going to make a lot of mistakes, so just kind of be in there for screens and next man rotations and certain doubles that we might throw at him. So I think Lou did a good job with that, and then I think like Queso, guys that are in different coverages did a good job of like kind of bottling that up.
And then there's one point where Lou was like face guarding D-Book out of bounds. That obviously frustrates D-Book. He pushes him. That's not the first time Lou has gotten a reaction like that. Just what's the kind of collective reaction you've seen from defenders that have to match up with him, or offensive players rather?
I would probably say a little bit of frustration, and I think when you just throw so many looks at players, it's kind of like it's easy to get frustrated, and then on top of it, it's Lou, who's not going to stop for the whole game, so I think that probably adds to it. So it's probably just like a moment of frustration, but just as a team, it's one of those moments you just come together, and then it's still like a collective effort, so we don't really let that play affect the rest of the game.
When you got a guy like that, premium scorer, and he's scoreless the first half, does that almost kind of feed into the energy part of it for you guys when your defense is working, you're switching, no matter where he's going, there's a hand in his face, you kind of feed off of that?
Yeah. He's also one of those scorers that can do that in the second half, so it kind of makes you like refocus in a way, because it's like you don't want to come out the half and give him easy looks to start, and now he's in a rhythm. So yes, it does give us like confidence that what we're doing is working, and then at the same time it's like, all right, let's like really refocus on like what we're doing to have that. And then like obviously he's gonna hit tough shots, he's a great scorer, so a lot of it is just like refocusing on the game plan and trying to like still accomplish that for the second half.
You guys are both 3-year college guys, both guys that came and made an impact from day one in the NBA. Like, Jalen, you may have a different perspective than AJ, but curious from both of you, like, what do you learn in year 2 and 3 that you think kind of moves the needle and allows you to make an impact from day one?
I'm talking to you.
I think it's just a lot more experience. I think just for me, having 3 years of college, I feel like every year I got better, and every year I was kind of preparing myself to be ready to play right away in the NBA. So I think it really just helped me to learn the game more and then just be ready to compete at the highest level.
AJ, do you want me to add to that or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think every year I just got better throughout that, and then I think college, it just, again, teaches you how to play basketball in general. Like, you learn a lot of like the X's and O's just because the rules are kind of different from the NBA. So when you get to the NBA, you have a lot more freedom to kind of go out. There's a lot more space. You're playing with more talented players, so you just kind of learn the game. And then when you get into a system like this that encourages growth and development, and kind of Mark like just throws you out there sometimes to like mess up, and kind of gives you grace with that to learn and play through mistakes, I think that's kind of what like speeds up our process of learning and getting better as players.
AJ, the position that you guys have been put in, where you're playing essentially 5 guards for almost the full 48 minutes, what's that been like for you specifically? Have you played on a team like this before? Obviously, Dub and the other guys have played like this, but have you played, you know, like this in a competitive environment?
Well, yeah, I think in college, I wouldn't say like a lot, but I did a few times, and I think it's just, I mean, it's a good experience. It's good to learn how to play without a big too, and just, I feel like when you play that type of way, you just gotta be aware that you gotta be more aggressive, and just no matter what, like there's no bigs to save you. So, especially I think defensively, like on the ball, being able to just guard the ball, be more aggressive, and I think offensively, just feel like playing with a lot more pace, trying to run more, and then just trying to read defenses. I think when you play with 5 guards, I mean it's fun to play because the ball moves, the ball goes like a lot of places, and you just read the game, and it's a higher pace, so it's cool.
And then what's it been like learning from Shai and Dub so far this season?
It's been amazing. I mean, the way they just dissect the game, the way they see the game has just been really, really interesting to see. And I think for me, it's been an amazing experience just to learn from those 2 guys.
AJ, when rookies come into the league, they say the speed of the game, the speed of the athletes in the NBA is the biggest adjustment. You don't seem like a guy that really gets sped up and play at your own pace. Has that been an adjustment for you?
I mean, I think the biggest adjustment I would say is just that it's bigger athletes, better athletes than in college. So I think that's been the biggest adjustment. But I feel like obviously the speed is faster, but I think I kind of picked it up pretty quickly. And I mean, I've always been kind of like taking my time on the court, not trying to be in a rush. So that's just something that I've developed throughout the years. So it's always been there.
Dub, you're 3 games into playing center for most of the time. Mark was in here and he praised just your dominant stretches. Are there any things that you feel like open up just for you being able to play the 5 in different lineups?
Offensively, no. Like, it's like you guys have seen it like through 3 years. Like, our offense doesn't change because I'm at the 5. I feel like I'm on the ball pretty much the same. I think, I don't know. I think the only thing that'll probably change is just like how we screen. And I'm not gonna like dig too much into it, but I think not having, you know, our bigs, obviously, like the way we have to be trickier with screens and understanding the offense, like the pace that we want to play with constantly. I think there's just been a bigger emphasis on that. But like as far as like getting to my spots, like we still do a good job of moving the ball and sharing it and trying to get out in transition. So I think a lot of that is just kind of the same. I think defensively has been the biggest adjustment.
You know, you have guarded like bigger guys like Cat, Wemby, and others. But like, how are you feeling physically, I just guess, after these last 3 games?
Every day is an ice bath. Other than that, I'm good. Yeah, that's all I got. I'm tired right now.
Efforts defensively that your team put out there tonight, what kind of goes through you as a coach to see that level of connectedness?
We had a lot of really good possessions. I thought, you know, it looked a little better because of the shot-making element. I thought Phoenix missed some good looks in the first half, which would have changed the optics of it. But I thought we played with great energy. I thought we did a great job of prioritizing Booker and making it difficult on him with denials and with ball pressure and with a crowd on him, which obviously you're going to give something else up. But I thought overall pretty good. You know, the execution lacked at different times, but the effort was pretty much there all night on the defensive end.
Mark, I think you said something along the lines in L.A. of Lou Dort, you know, being that type of player that he makes defensive plays nobody can make, almost like wow type of plays. I just wonder, like, beyond defense, like hustle plays, does he ever make plays like that that stun you, and were there any plays like that tonight?
Yeah, he's just got an unbelievable, you know, competitive motor, relentlessness, and the physical profile. His physique and his strength and his quickness at that strength has a lot to do with, those are his tools. And then he's got the heart, in terms of the competitiveness and the motor and the, like I said, resilience. So he did another great job tonight on Booker. On the heels of, I think it's 3 and 4 nights or close to that. You got Ingram the other night was 18 points on 18 shots, 8 turnovers. Harden the other night we did a great job on. That's team, but, he's taken on those individual challenges and doing a great job.
And obviously, Nurkic tonight, that box score is maybe noisier than Zubac the other night, but just what have you made of the stretches you guys have kind of nullified bigs like Nurkic and Zubac?
Yeah, we're going to lose some battles to those guys, meaning like there's going to be individual possessions where they get the best of us because of their size and skill. They're good players, and we just are betting on netting out positive in those situations. So thought we did a good job again tonight, of putting him in some tough spots defensively because we get the 5 guards out there, and we swarmed him. We did enough on the glass. We did enough around the basket, give ourselves a really good defensive outing.
And just like with the Athletic, you guys continue to lead the league in drives, which you have for years now. The free throw disparity was pretty big tonight, 40-18. I don't know if that mimics what you saw on the court, and just thoughts on like free throw disparity in general that's been happening.
Well, the free throw disparity coming into tonight was minus 4.4. Which is 5th last in the league. It's us, Charlotte, Toronto, Brooklyn, and Washington. And so that was before 40-18 tonight. I felt bad. I like Mitchell Irvin. I've known him a long time. He worked in the G League. He's a really good guy. Diedrich, G League guy. Matt, G League guy. I've known those guys a long time, and I'm like lighting them up tonight. Not because of one call tonight, but there is a cumulative frustration we have at this point because our guys are working too hard, but we're in the bonus 62% of quarters. That's the lowest in the league. Tonight, we were in the bonus 14 minutes. They were in the bonus half the game, 24 minutes. We're just, it's capping us offensively, and the guys want to improve, and they're asking how we can improve, and it's like there's only so much we can improve on if we're not getting to the line when we're putting that much pressure on the basket with the driving. So I was frustrated with those guys tonight, but it's cumulative frustration, and we're going to continue to look in the mirror, and we're not going to outsource everything to the officials, but we're trying to figure out what we can do with how much we're putting pressure on the basket to get to the free throw line more because it's really hurting our offense right now, not getting there.
Is there anything specific that you're seeing that maybe could be leading to that on these drives?
No, I think there's plays that they can probably go get. I think that's the frustration. Even tonight, I thought Dub gathered on that play, and they put it on the side. That's 2 free throws right there for a guy who, is playing really hard. That's why I feel the need to defend those guys. So we'll continue to look at it and control what we can, but the metrics are just screaming at us right now, and we're kind of at a loss for how to go about improving that. Because it's been 13 games now, So I wasn't necessarily. It wasn't just about tonight's disparity, which was obviously huge, but the cumulative effect over 13 games, minus 4.4, bottom 5 in the league. It's only going to get worse after an outing like tonight. It was 17-3 at halftime. It's like there's a lot of contact in that game for 17-3. So I was really frustrated. I'm trying to shoulder that for the team because I want them to focus on the game, and they've done a great job of that.
You guys out-rebounded them, 13 offensive boards. What did you like about the effort on the glass tonight?
Yeah, I thought, the defensive glass, there's going to be plays with a guy like Nurkic or Zubac. Those types of players are huge. They're hard to move. They're strong. There's going to be plays where they get offensive rebounds because of their size. We're able to scramble around because we're playing 5 guards, and the offensive rebounding for us is a weapon, chasing down those long rebounds and the stuff that gets tapped out. And it was a lot of guys tonight. That's been a huge point of emphasis for us the last week or so, and the guys have done a really good job.
Not trying to be negative, but tonight seemed like the offense, you guys were getting the right process with the offense. Do you feel like it was just missing shots?
Combination of missing shots, combination of, like I said, if you drive in there and you don't get a call, it's hard, to continue that possession. We'll go back and look at it. We go and evaluate every single game. but our defense steadied us tonight, and our offense was there. Third quarter offense, I think we got really humming there and got a nice blend, generated great shots, generated great rhythm. We just got to sustain that for longer periods of the game.
Looked like, offensively struggled, but looked like came out, you getting a lot of cuts to the basket, back doors, things of that nature. Was that something you saw that you could get, or was it just kind of working out that way? Or?
Yeah, I think the space on the floor with the guards helps us do that. We've got everybody on the perimeter because of the perimeter orientation of the guys that are playing. That opens the paint up. That's why the drive, we're tops in the league in drives, as Andrew mentioned. A lot of that's the space we can create on the floor, and then we want to go punch that space with drives, punch it with cuts, punch it with rolls, and I thought we did a good job of that tonight.
We're now 3 games into Dub being at center. Where have you seen the most growth from him just sort of playing in this new spot?
I don't know if there's specific growth. I think it's more like highlighting how great of a player he is. Just the versatility to be able to, just on a dime, shift into that and in 3 games, like dominate parts of the game the way that he has. Tonight wasn't his night, but I think the other thing that, gets overlooked in that, the guys are doing a great job. But like the physical output it takes when you've got a small lineup out there for 48 minutes, the guys are really like amping it up. And, Isaiah Joe's taking charges, what Dort's doing, what Dub's doing, really every single guy that touches the floor, the physical effort it requires to defend that well and play that hard for that long over the course of a week requires unbelievable commitment to the team, and those guys are doing it. And that's amidst, Dub didn't have his best offensive night. He was obviously cooking the other night. But they're having up and down offensive nights because that's the nature of the game, and it has not impacted their commitment to the team or their effort, and they've just done a great job.
I know we're only 15 games in, but how do you sort of navigate the sample sizes? Because they seem pretty drastic from the Chet games to now the small ball to whenever Hartenstein returns, Jay Will, and so on.
We're going to learn a lot about the small lineups and, the profile of those lineups, the trade-offs of those lineups. And it's obviously netting positive, and so there's going to come a time where we have our front court guys back, which will help our team. But the small lineups can be a weapon for us that we can draw on clearly, because it's given us some good stuff. Understanding when to draw on it and why is important. And then as guys come back, we'll integrate them and we'll learn about the team over the course of the next, however many games, 69 games.